Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, part 2, we're continuing with the ruku number 2 of Surah Luqman. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. And Allah is saying, we gave Luqman hikmah, wisdom. Anishkur lillah. So that he can, and we said to him, do shukr of Allah. Be grateful to Allah. وَمَن يَشْكُرْ. And whoever yashkur does shukr, فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. Then he does shukr for himself. The benefit of that shukr is to himself. وَمَن كَفَرَ. And whoever does kufr, whoever denies, whoever rejects, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Then indeed Allah is ghani. He has no needs. He is, he is complete in himself. He needs nothing from you. Hamid, and he is praiseworthy all in himself. Like, he doesn't need hamd from you. Even if the entire world stops praising Allah, stops doing hamd and shukr of Allah, it won't make a bit of a difference in his status. Right? He is Hamid all in his own right. Now, this is an important point, that وَمَن يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. That whoever does shukr, he does shukr for his own self. And we see this tone in multiple other places in the Quran as well. Whoever does jihad, he does jihad for his own self, right? And multiple places other as well, with different wordings. But essentially the point being that your shukr is not gonna increase or decrease the status of Allah by any amount. It's not gonna, if you do shukr of Allah, it's not gonna make Allah any bigger. Or if you don't do shukr, if you do kufr of Allah, if you reject Allah, if you deny Allah, then you're not gonna reduce his value or reduce his status or reduce his greatness in any way. The benefit of that shukr is only to you, because Allah says that if you do shukr, I will increase for you, right? I will increase the ni'mah, the blessing for you. So the benefit of the shukr is for us. Secondly, note that as a contrast to shukr, Allah mentions kufr. He says, وَمَن يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرْ لِنَفْسِهِ. Whoever does shukr does it for himself. وَمَن كَفَرَ. And whoever rejects, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Then indeed Allah is Ghani and Hamid. But the important point to note, the opposite or the contrast of shukr being mentioned as kufr. Why and how? We just take kufr to mean blatant rejection of Allah, right? That if someone says, oh, there's no God, or I don't believe in Allah, that's kufr. Sure, okay, that's fine. But there's another form of kufr, which is being ungrateful. Allah is giving you something, and instead of thanking Allah, instead of being grateful to Allah, instead of doing shukr to Allah, you say, this is the fruit of my efforts. All the hard work I've been doing for the past X years has paid off. All the, effort I put into studying, that is how I got this grade. This is kufr. Your words, the words of a mu'min, the words of a Muslim should be, Alhamdulillah. Allah blessed me with this. Allah blessed me with the fruit of my efforts. Allah did not let my efforts go to waste. Right? That is shukr. In the end, just having it drilled into your mind that whatever I do, whatever happens around me, the true source, the true doer of anything, the true person, the true being in whose control anything is Allah. I could work I could study for years and years and years and still not pass a single exam if the idhn of Allah, if the permission of Allah wasn't with me. And I could sleep through the entire year and pass my exam if the idhn of Allah was in that. That does not mean that I'm not gonna do any effort myself. We are taught again and again by Rasulullah ﷺ and Allah that we are supposed to strive, we are supposed to struggle, we are supposed to work towards, we're supposed to do everything that's in our power. And once we've done that, then we leave it to Allah. The outcome is upon Allah. That is tawakkul. Oh Allah, I've done my part. Now you do what's best. Right? I've studied as best I could. The result is now up to you. I've, done my best in the interview. Whether I get the job or not, that is up to you. That is tawakkul. That is what shukr means. That is what sabr means. That is what relying upon Allah means. Right, okay, moving on. So essentially, Allah is basically mentioning that Luqman, this person Luqman, he was given wisdom, he was given hikmah, and the point of giving him hikmah was that he could do shukr of Allah. He could truly recognize Allah and be grateful to Him for all the blessings. Okay. وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِبْنِهِ. And Luqman said to his son, وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ, when he was advising him, when he was يَعِظُهُ comes from the root of wa'adha, wa'adh, or basically nasihat in Urdu, or essentially it's the same thing. Advise, instruct, just giving him life tips. One interpretation of this is that maybe Luqman was on his deathbed and giving his last and final instructions to his son. And that makes sense because these are like very important, very fundamental instructions. So وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ. When he was, when he was advising his son, he said, يَا بُنَيَّ, O my son, لَا تُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, don't do shirk of Allah. Don't associate anyone or anything with Allah. إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. Indeed, shirk is a big injustice, a dhulm. And we've discussed shirk in like multiple videos before this, so I'm not going to bring it up again. But again, just for a reminder, shirk isn't just idol worship. Shirk is a lot more than that, and you can associate yourself with Allah. And that doesn't just mean worshipping yourself, that just means following your own desires and wishes. Okay, moving forward. إِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. Now, dhulm, well, in the general meanings that we use dhulm or injustice, that's like taking away someone's rights or oppressing someone or harming someone or stealing something, right? How is shirk dhulm? Well, we need to realize that dhulm or injustice, at its root, it's basically not fulfilling the rights of something or someone, right? Not giving someone enough value as is due to them, or giving someone more value than is due to them, than they deserve, right? Or giving, just not fulfilling rights, doing something more or less than what is rightful. And how is shirk a zulm in that sense? Well, it is Allah's right that you worship Him and Him alone. It is Allah's right that His command is the last and final verdict and that you follow it. Inil hukmu illa lillah. That all authority, all hukm, all power belongs to Allah. So when you don't obey His commands, that is shirk. You're not following, you're not obeying His commands, and that was His right. It was His right to be obeyed. It was His right to have His commands followed. It was His right to be worshipped. If you don't do it, then you are in fact zalim, right? You are doing zulm because you're not giving Him His right. Moving forward. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ. And now Allah is interjecting here. Allah is saying, and we advised insan, we advised mankind, بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ is this missing? Oh, okay. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ. And we advised, and basically what's sort of skipped here is we were advised to mankind to care for biwalid, his parents, to do ihsan with them, right? Now, previously we saw that this person Luqman is talking to his son, but now we're seeing Allah saying that Allah advised. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And then the point of Luqman continues further. So what does this mean? Well, look at it this way. Luqman, whoever he is, he's this kid's father, right? So he's telling him he's giving him all the guidance, all the stuff he's supposed to do, and it's a responsibility of the child to be good to his parents as well, right? To fulfill the rights of his parents as well. That's his responsibility. But this, Luqman is his father. If he tells him that, you're supposed to be good to your parents, you're supposed to, fulfill their rights, you're supposed to obey them and all that, he's basically just telling his son to fulfill my rights. These are my rights, you need to fulfill them. And any self-respecting person, any, normal, pious, good person, it doesn't feel right for them to, mention their own rights. It just feels wrong, right? You can talk about the rights of others. You're you shouldn't do this, you should do this, you should, fulfill the rights of Allah and fulfill the rights of other people, all of that. But you saying you need to fulfill my rights as well, that sounds kind of self-obsessive and it just sounds weird, right? So that's he skipped that part intentionally. I won't mention that part, but look at the importance that even though he didn't mention it, Allah is mentioning it. And He's mentioning it right after La tushrik billah. Don't do shirk with Allah. Right after that point, Allah is saying, and we enjoined upon insan, upon mankind, biwaliday, to be good to his parents, to care for his parents. So it's that important, right? حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. Actually, now, why is it this important? Why is Allah mentioning it himself? Why is Allah interjecting in between the speech of a man and mentioning this? There must be something important about this, right? So, Allah's saying, why is this important? حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. His mother, she carried him, حَمَلَتْهُ. She carried him in her, stomach, وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. In weakness upon weakness, right? So, again, when a woman's pregnant, her body obviously becomes weaker and weaker, and, she is under more and more physical and mental and emotional stress and weakness and strain as the pregnancy progresses, right? And so Allah is saying, you need to do this, you need to be good to your parents, you need to care for your parents because your mother carried you in weakness upon weakness. وَفِصَالُهُ and وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْن. And then she, basically, Allah is saying the direct translation is the separation, the weaning away is fi amain, is in 2 years, meaning the the breastfeeding for the child is for 2 years, and after that the child is to be separated, not to be fed anymore. So basically the point of mentioning this here is that first she carried you in her stomach for like 9 months in weakness upon weakness, and then for 2 years she breastfed you. Anishkur li waliwalidayk ilayya al-masir. Allah is saying, Anishkur li, be grateful to me, do shukr to me, waliwalidayk, and to your parents. Do shukr to both. This is such importance. Note, Allah is putting Himself, Allah is putting parents right after Himself. Anishkur li wali waliday, and your parents. Ilayya al-masir. And you will be returned, your final destination. Why are these dogs barking? Sorry about that. Allah is saying that your final destination, your final return is to me, right? And this is like a small, tiny note about the yaqeen in the akhirah, iman bil akhirah. So that's that. And iman bil akhirah will come again in a few, in a few ayat, or maybe in the next ayah. It will be mentioned again. So that again, it's reinforcing the importance of iman bil akhirah. That, do not forget, do not ever let it slip your mind that to Allah you have to return. That there will be an akhirah, there will be a judgment, there will be a court on that day. You will be held accountable. Don't ever let that slip your mind. وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ, and if they if they strive, if they do jihad towards you, with you, ala an tushrik bi, that you do shirk with me, you associate something or someone with me. If the parents, they strive against you for this, that you do shirk, ma laysa laka bihi ilm, then if they strive that you associate something with me, ma laysa laka bihi ilm, something which you have no ilm for, right? So basically, let's look at it. Basically, if they ask you, or if they try to force you and say that, you should associate someone with Allah, something with Allah, you should worship these idols as well, and basically something that you have no ilm about, ma laysa laka bihi ilm, that you know nothing about them. They don't give you any benefit, they don't feed you, they're nothing. There's no actual ilm about this. This is just made up stuff. فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, then there is no obedience to them in that case. Then don't obey them in that case, right? And a sub-note here, which I need to remind myself of as well, is if Allah is saying فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, there's no obedience to them in this case, like when they ask you to do shirk. that means that there is a general obedience. The exception is when they ask you to do shirk, but if they're not asking you to do shirk, if they're asking you for something halal, then you have to obey them. Right? That is one of their rights. And I forget this as well. I forget this quite often. I mess up. I'm human. But we need to constantly remind ourselves of this, that it is their right to be obeyed as long as they're saying something ma'ruf, something that is good, something that isn't wrong. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا, and stay with them. فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا, in this dunya, ma'rufa, in a good manner, right? So even if they are telling you to do shirk, you can't leave them, you can't boycott them, you can't be like, okay, tata, bye bye, since you won't let me be Muslim in peace, I'm gonna run away and I'm gonna, I'm never gonna see you again. No. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. You're supposed to stay with them, you're supposed to accompany them, and you're supposed to, just live with them, continue living with them in this world, في الدنيا معروفة, in a good manner, in a ma'ruf manner. Ma'ruf comes from urf, which is highness, right? Like, you need to maintain that moral high ground even if they're wrong. You need to maintain that goodness, that level of character, that even if they're asking you to do shirk, you won't obey them. فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. You won't obey them in that. But you will still maintain goodness. You'll still maintain respect. You'll still maintain, you won't stop obeying them in every other matter. You will obey them in everything other than shirk. Right? Okay. وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. وَاتَّبِعْ, and follow سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. So, stay with them in ma'ruf, stay with them, accompany them, continue living with them, and keep following the path that comes to me. Keep turning back to me. Allah is saying, don't go astray yourself. Even though you're supposed to stay with them, you're supposed to keep advising them, you're supposed to keep trying to make them understand that this is wrong, bil ma'ruf, with goodness. But also, keep turning back to Allah. Keep following the path of Allah. Don't go astray yourself. ثُمَّ إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ, then everything will return to Allah. Then you will return to Allah. To Allah will be your return. فَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, and I will tell you everything that you used to do. All the amal that you used to do, I will tell you. Ya bunayya. Now the words of Luqman are continuing. Ya bunayya. Oh my son. Innaha in taku mithqal. Indeed, if you in taku mithqal. Okay, even if you do a deed, in taku mithqal, even if you do something, habbatan min khardal, something equal to like a grain, a seed, right? A mustard seed, equal to that in weight. Fatakun fi sakhratin, and you do this while you do this in a rock, in a cave, in a if you go inside a rock and do it. أو في السماوات, or you do it in the skies. You go into the skies above the clouds and then you do it. أو في الأرض, or you do it within the earth. You go into the earth and do it. Like, underground and do it. Ya'ti bihallah. Allah will bring it on the day of judgment. This is again this is Iman bil Akhirah again. Allah will bring it. Don't think that if you go into a cave or go into the earth or go into the sky that you'll be able to hide from Allah. Even the smallest of deeds that you do, Allah will bring them in front of you on that day. Inna Allah latifun khabir. Indeed, Allah is Latif, is someone who is aware of the subtleties, the small things as well. Every tiny detail, Allah knows. And Khabir, like He is all-knowing. So everything, the tiniest of things that you do. There was this philosophy brought up by someone that that Allah is the God of big things, not the God of small things. So the big things that, what nation to destroy and where to send like a hurricane, or, the big things, the big decisions, that Allah makes those, what stars to be created in the universe. Allah makes the big decisions, but the small things, our everyday life, our matters, they don't matter to Allah. Like Allah isn't the God of them. And this is a very wrong philosophy. Inna Allah latifun khabir. Allah is all-knowing, is in complete control of every little thing. Every little act, every little word. Allah, literally, in taku mithqala habbatin min khardal. Even if you do something, even if you do a deed equal in weight to a mustard seed. How small is a mustard seed? Right? It's like literally, you can hold it up on your finger, and I don't know how many you can hold up on your finger. Like, you can hold many on your finger. Even something equal to that in weight, Allah will bring it on the day of judgment. Allah knows it. Ya bunayya, O my son, aqim as-salata. Establish prayer. Now, this is one of the reasons, and this is one of the evidences, people who say that the teachings of a messenger or a prophet must have reached him because he was praying. He was praying salah, right? So how did he know when to pray salah, what was salah, how to pray it, all of that? That is a good argument. I don't have any counters to it. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether a messenger's teachings reached him or not. The important point here is the teachings themselves. So he's saying to his son, aqim as-salah. Establish prayer. Stay firm on your prayer. Stand on your prayer. Don't let them go to waste. Don't miss them. وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Now, the important part. You pray, that's a good deed, right? But the truest form of good deeds is وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Enjoin goodness, enjoin ma'roof, enjoin what is good, وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, and forbid what is bad. Stop what is evil. Stop the munkar. This is the essence of Islam. Islam is not an individualistic deen. Islam does not support everyone staying in their own, like everyone just doing their own prayer and salah and, Saum and Hajj, and just keep minding their own business. Islam does not condone, Islam literally does not allow minding your own business. Amar bil ma'roof and nahi anil munkar are basic, fundamental parts of Islam. You want to be mu'min, you need to do these. These are the base, these are the foundations. You can't be, you cannot succeed without these. Constantly keep in mind Surah Al-Asr. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. The, the promise of time, the promise of, actually, وَالْعَصْرِ, the actual definition, or the actual translation is the promise of time that is rapidly slipping away, that is spilling away, right? So by time, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Indeed, 100% certainty that humankind, insan, lafi khusr, is 100% definitely in khusr, loss. Complete, absolute, utter loss. Now the exception. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ, except those who آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Except those who had iman, believed in Allah, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and did good deeds, did righteous deeds, did أعمال صالحة, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and advised, invited, enjoined towards haqq, towards the truth, towards what is right, right? That tawasi bil haqq is the same as amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar. It's one and the same thing. Suggesting, advising towards the truth, towards haqq, is the same thing as enjoining what is good and forbidding what is bad. And then tawasi bis sabr. And note that right after, in this ayah, the one we're discussing, it says أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانهى عن المنكر, and then واصبر على ما أصابك, and have sabr, be patient over whatever is inflicted upon you, or whatever reaches you, right? Or whatever hardship befalls you, whatever resistance. Now, why is sabr right after this amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar? And same in Surah Al-Asr. Why is tawasi bis sabr right after tawasi bil haqq? Well, when you do tawasi bil haqq, when you do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, you will face opposition. You will face resistance. You tell someone to do something good, you will always face opposition, right? Why should I do something good? Why should I not have my freedom? All of those very stupid arguments, in my opinion, but you will face resistance and opposition. You will be made fun of. You will be humiliated. You might as well, like, if it gets extreme enough, you might get tortured. You might be hit. You might be killed. So Allah is saying, wasbir ala, and not actually Luqman is saying, but like the words, in effect, the message is being sent by Allah. Wasbir ala ma asabak. Have sabr, be patient over whatever befalls you. Same with tawasi. When you do tawasi bil haqq, when you do amr bil ma'ruf, when you do nahi anil munkar, you will have to face resistance. And in face of that resistance, you will have to be patient. You will have to have sabr. You'll have to be able to firm, and you will have to able to continue spreading your message without being demotivated or without feeling discouraged, right? So that is why tawasi bis sabr comes right after tawasi bil haqq, and here wasbir comes right after wa'mur bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Inna dhalika min azmi al-umur. And indeed, this is min azmi al-umur. This is like from the matters that like need real strength, need azm, right? To do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, You need true conviction and dedication and resolve, right? You can't just, I mean, if you do it without those things, you might be able to do it one day, you might be able to do it 2 days, you might be able to do it for a week. But then when you are constantly facing resistance, then you'll eventually leave, you'll eventually quit if you don't have that conviction and that resolve. So this is something that needs real azm, real dedication. وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ, and do not turn away your cheek, or you don't turn away your cheek from the people, in the sense of you know how when someone's angry or upset with you, they don't want to talk to you, and they turn their cheek to you. They're like, I'm not going to talk to you. Don't do that. You're saying don't do that in neither in arrogance or obsession. Don't do it out of anger or being upset, and don't do it out of arrogance either. Don't do it out of this sense of pride. Don't try and be better than them. وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا, and don't walk on the land, on the earth, maraha, with, what do they say? What's that English proverb? With with steel in your shoulders or something. Basically, don't walk with pride and arrogance and squared off shoulders and just acting very basically also thinking of yourself so highly that basically you just walk with a lot of arrogance and pride and stiff, essentially, with as if there's a steel rod between your shoulders and they're squared off, and you're so very proud of yourself. Don't do that. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. And indeed, Allah does not like those who are mukhtal, who are, always self-obsessed, who are self-deluded, who just keep their entire world revolves around themselves. Me, and me. Allah does not like those, and Allah does not like fukhur, the ones who do fakhr, who boast, who are arrogant, who are prideful. Allah does not like them either, right? وَقْصِدْ فِي مَشْيِكَ, and be balanced, be normal, be balanced in your pace, in your stride. Don't try and I don't remember the exact ayah or the reference, but in the Quran Allah says somewhere, don't walk in the land arrogantly. You will neither be able to burst the earth or tear the earth, nor will you be able to reach the skies. So that is don't walk so proudly and stomping your feet and making sure everyone hears you. Don't do that. You're not going to be able to rip through the earth, and you're not going to be able to reach the skies. What's with all that arrogance and pride and self-delusion? Don't stop. Fix yourself. Allah does not like it. So be balanced in your pace. Be balanced in your stride. Walk normally, right? And this does not mean walk slow. It is, we learn from the seerah that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he walked a good pace. He walked fast, and he walked in a way that was purposeful. If you see him walking, you'll feel as if he's, you'll immediately know that he has a purpose. He's going somewhere. There's a purpose behind him. He's not just randomly walking just for the sake of walking, like what I'm doing right now. Like I'm just strolling, right? My purpose isn't to get somewhere, it's to just walk. So, like this, like being waqsid fi mashyik, like being balanced in your stride and your pace, doesn't mean walk slow, but it means don't walk with arrogance. Don't, like, just walk normally, right? Don't stomp your feet, don't drag your feet, don't be extra loud or extra arrogant or extra prideful in your stride. وَغْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكَ, and lower your voice. Keep your voice normal, low, soft. إِنَّ أَنْكَرَ الْأَصْوَاتِ لَصَوْتُ الْحَمِيرِ. Indeed, the worst, the most disagreeable of sounds is the sound of the donkey. Aswatul hamir. Lasautul hamir, sorry. Is the sound of the donkey. Now, on one hand, there's the direct literal meaning of this, that, don't speak extra loudly, don't shout, because, don't be a donkey, essentially. But on the other hand, if you look a bit deeper, if you relate it to the previous verse was about Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, right? And now he's saying, lower your voice, lower your volume. The embedded meaning here could be taken, one interpretation of this is, is the fact that lower your volume, but increase your knowledge. When you're doing Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, do it with evidence, do it with proof, do it with logic and, argument. Don't shout, right? And that is like basic human etiquette as well. Like when someone starts shouting in an argument, it's almost instinctually known that everyone around them knows that they've lost. They don't have a good comeback or a counter. That's why they're resorting to shouting now, right? If they could answer that, if they could answer whatever points were raised by the other side, then they would do so civilly. Just because they're not doing that means they've essentially lost. They don't have any actual material, any points to be made. So for that, like, increase your own knowledge, have your own good points, have your evidences, collect them, use them. Use evidence and logic and knowledge to make your point, not just your volume, right? And if volume was the condition or the factor of someone being right or someone being on the truth, then a donkey would be the most like someone with the most knowledge or the most guidance. A donkey should be the one who should be listened to the most, if volume or loudness is the thing to be listened to. So don't be a donkey, don't be an ass. An ass just means donkey, don't get this wrong. Don't be a donkey. Lower your volume, increase your knowledge. Use knowledge to invite people. Use knowledge to enjoin good and forbid bad. Use knowledge for da'wah. Use evidence for Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Don't just shout. That's no use. You're not a donkey, you're a human being. You've been given shower. Use it. So these are the advice. This is the wasiyat given by Luqman to his son. And I like the understanding that it was given on his deathbed, because this is the kind of advice that someone gives as they're passing on, right? Like, this is make sure, this is the very fundamentals, these are the basics. Do these, stick to these, don't go astray from these, right? So let's quickly recap everything that was mentioned in this ruku. It started with لا تشرك بالله. Don't do shirk with Allah, with Allah. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه, and be good to your parents, right? وإن جاهداك على, okay, so if they invite you towards, if they order you to do shirk, then فلا تطعهما, don't listen to them, don't obey them. وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا, but stay with them معروف, in a good way, right? And يا بني إنها إن تك مثقال, okay, then iman bil akhirah, that don't think that you can hide anything from Allah. For in everything that you're doing, keep Allah in the back of your mind, or the front of your mind, I mean, for that matter. But like, always have it in your mind that whatever you're doing, it will be brought on the day of judgment. So you can be conscious of your actions. You can be conscious of your deeds. You can always, you can always have that taqwa that I'm doing this right now, but I will have to answer for it. I will have to account for this on the day of judgment. So you'll be careful about what you do. Then, أقم الصلاة, establish prayer. وأمر بالمعروف وانهى عن المنكر. Do أمر بالمعروف and نهي عن المنكر. واصبر على ما أصابك, and have sabr over whatever falls upon you. And ولا تصعر خدك للناس, and don't be arrogant, right? And both these points actually, that don't turn your cheek toward the people, and don't walk arrogantly in the earth. Don't be arrogant, don't do takabbur, don't think highly of yourself, don't be like extra prideful. Just be normal, be, humble, have some humility, be down to earth. وَقْصِدْ فِي مَشْيِكَ, and be moderate in your pace. Don't stomp, don't drag your feet, don't, just be normal, please. وَغْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكَ, and lower your voice. Lower your voice. Build strength with knowledge, with evidence, with, with proof, with logic. But don't just shout. Don't keep shouting. Don't be a donkey, right? And this is the sum total. This is the most comprehensive guidance for life that a wise person, and not just any wise person, a person whose wisdom is being described in the Quran. The Quran is calling him wise. The Kitabul Hakeem, the book which is wise, is calling that person wise. Allah is saying we gave him hikmah. So this person, the person with hikmah, when he is advising his son, what is he advising to? He's advising to these things. These ayat, 12 to 19 of Surah Luqman. Honestly, if we stick to these, our life is sorted. This is essentially complete guidance. May Allah truly allow us to get the benefit and fully implement the guidance found within these verses of His, and within the lessons He is teaching us from people past and present, and from His book. And may Allah truly help us, guide us, support us, and choose us for service of His deen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum. And sorry about the extra long video, guys. I know I blabbered a bit too much today. That wasn't meant to happen. This could have been wrapped up a lot quicker. So sorry about that. And I'm really grateful if you guys are actually listening to these, because I like to put my effort in, and if someone gets guidance from them, even if one person gets any bit of guidance from them, then wallahi, I'm more than satisfied, and inshallah, my reward will be safe with Allah. And Yeah, Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.